All right, guys, we're going to call this Let's Not Should Yourself Out of a Calorie Deficit. So this week in particular, I've had a lot of my one-on-one coaching clients really struggling with this. The goal is they need to get into a calorie deficit, and they have all these shoulds going on in their head. I should be eating guacamole at lunch to get in my good fat. I should be cutting out my chocolate. Right? Like all these shoulds. And I had a maintainer actually. I should be eating X amount of protein, but I'm not hitting my calorie target. I want to kind of help you see this a little bit more clearly. If your goal is weight or fat loss, you must be in a calorie deficit. So let's just say that you know your maintenance. Let's say you're trying to shoot for a couple hundred below to lose weight. Well, where I see there being a conflict is a lot of people look at what they hear, they take in all this information. They have all these like kind of rules and, I should be eating this amount of vegetables, this amount, but they kind of lose sight of, okay, what is the overarching goal here? To lose weight, lose fat. I must be in a calorie deficit. If I'm getting so granular and in the weeds with everything I'm eating and I have all these checkoff boxes, right? Got to do this, got to do that. What can happen without even realizing it is you lose sight of the calorie deficit. So you're not working toward your goal. You're kind of checking all those boxes off, eating what you hear that you're supposed to be eating, but not actually doing the thing. So here's an example. I have a client. She was supposed to be eating right around 1,800 calories. We went through her whole day of like what she eats. Breakfast was easy. We swapped egg whites for 2 eggs, dropped 100 calories. So I went through meal by meal. This is where it gets interesting. At lunch, and she actually motivated me. She goes, Heather, I'm shitting all over myself. At lunch, she described what she was having, some chicken and applesauce. And then she has these almond crackers, a cheese wedge, guacamole, carrots. And I said to her, okay, so out of all that food, if we were going to trim 100-ish calories off your day, where do you think you should make the change? She goes, well, the crackers. She says, I know I probably shouldn't be having them. And she says, so I think I should nix those. And I said, okay, but what's the guacamole for? And she goes, oh, well, I dip my carrots in the guacamole. And I said, okay. I said, do you like that? Not really. I said, well, why are you eating it? Because I think I should be getting in this healthy fat. I said, okay, so here is a coach. This is where I step in and I say, let's do this. Keep the crackers, keep the cheese wedge, because she loves that. She gets excited about that. But I said, what if we ditch the guac and the carrot? She goes, really? And I said, yeah. I said, because here's the deal. There's a factor that nobody thinks about. The calorie deficit must happen if the goal is weight loss or fat loss. But underneath that, each calorie should as much as possible bring you satisfaction. If you do not feel satisfied with what you're eating, you will compensate for it in other ways. That's when you'll sneak a little this, sneak a little that, because you're not satisfied. I hate to say it, vegetables. Like, I love vegetables. I eat vegetables every meal. Right now, I'm in a calorie deficit. So I'm looking at my lunch. I really love avocado toast. I have a choice. 2 pieces of low-calorie bread with avocado or broccoli. Broccoli was 60 calories. I nixed the broccoli. I kept the avocado toast because it's a satisfaction thing. If what I'm eating I really enjoy, my chances of being compliant with my calorie deficit go up immensely. Another client had the thought, I want to hit my calorie goal. I'm going to ditch my chocolate, my daily chocolate. No, hear me say this, please. No, please do not remove the thing that brings you pleasure every day. Your brain will automatically always go to the thing that you get pleasure from. And it's like this weird association that calorie deficit has to also equal misery. It's like, okay, we're in a calorie deficit, no chocolate for you, no crackers and cheese for you. And it's like it's wanting to make it as miserable as possible. What if we did the other thing? What if you said, I have an apple scheduled for the afternoon, but you know what I'd really like? A Snickers bar. And calorie-wise, it's a mini Snickers. It works out the same. If you will be compliant with your calorie goal, then make the switch to the Snickers bar, right? Like, we have to change our thinking. You will always feel a fire under your butt for this process to be over quicker if you don't enjoy it and if it feels miserable. The problem with that is, if you want this to be over as soon as possible, you're going to do things to shortchange the process. You're going to try to expedite the process. You're going to go lower and lower calories. You're going to get more and more restrictive. You're going to do things to try and hurry it up because you want to get out of it. But if I tell you there's no getting out of it, you're in it pretty much for the rest of your life. It'll be a little bit more calories, a little bit less calories. Learn how to eat in a way you enjoy, having food you enjoy. Don't shit all over yourself with gotta have this, gotta do that, shouldn't have this. Because the truth is, if everything you let go of is what you enjoy and you resent a lot of what you're eating, it will be a short-lived venture, okay? And here's how you check in with yourself. If you think of it like money, right? And you're spending your money, your $1,600, $1,800, and you want to get the thing you really want as much as possible. Now, the only thing I would encourage you to do as a caveat is, while we're not shitting ourselves, as much as you can, get your protein in at each meal. And the only reason I say that, and that's in lieu, like, you don't have to even be shooting for a protein quota. But what I want to say is because it will balance blood sugar. So a lot of people hear what I'm saying and go, good, I'll eat all the crap. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is your goal is to eat as much as you can to feel physically satisfied, full, right? But if you've got to trim a little here and a little there, don't immediately pull the food out you enjoy. Maybe say, I do like apples, but I can give up an apple if it lets me keep my daily chocolate, right? So you might be willing to kind of make those slight changes. And there's a little part of your brain that's going to beat you up and say, but chocolate's not healthy food. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, when you're looking at weight loss, it comes down to that calorie deficit. And you've got to be at that place in order to lose weight. The calories should be made up, your calories should be made up of hopefully equal parts filling foods and equal parts enjoyable foods, or some ratio thereof. I'm not saying don't eat fruits and vegetables. I would encourage you to do so. I'm not saying to just blow your calories on all fun foods all the time. But what I am saying is be very careful that you're not taking in a bunch of people's rules on foods and kind of trying to make this process more miserable for yourself and creating a situation where you're actually not hitting your calorie goal because you're eating all the things you think you should be eating, but none of the things you actually enjoy, and you're constantly self-sabotaging. So I hope this message helps. I will talk to you soon. Take care.